With Austin Price, Brent Hubbs, VolQuest.com in Orlando at the Future 50 Combine for the class of 2021. Tennessee featured prominently with several prospects today, Austin.
Well, they did, and the one thing that sticks out to me was Peyton Page. He was very jubilant when talking about Tennessee. He likes Tennessee a lot. I think Clemson's very much in the mix there, as would be expected. A kid from North Carolina, not too far from Clemson. North Carolina obviously is a factor for him as well. But Tennessee's positioned themselves because of the relationships that he's built with, not just Jeremy Pruitt, but Tracy Rocker. He talks about how much he's learned from Tracy every time he's around him, called him the OG. He said that, distance will be a factor in his recruitment. I thought that was honestly, just some refreshing honesty. He called himself a mama's boy. Whether you are or not a lot of people want to say that. And he did say that today and said that, he wants to be close to his mom and wants to play close to home. That doesn't mean he wants to be 5 minutes down the road from her, but it means that, schools within a 3 or 4 hour radius are going to have a much better shot than schools that have a 7 or 8 hour drive away. So I think Tennessee's positioned well there. He's been to school or to Tennessee's campus countless times, and I'm not saying they're getting him. I'm just saying that they've positioned themselves to be in the mix for a while.
Well, and I think one of the things that talk about the closeness that he has to his family. He talked about how Tennessee's recruiting his entire family. They're originally from Washington, D.C. and moved to Greensboro. His family moved him out of Washington, D.C. for a better environment. He's very appreciative to his parents for kind of putting him in a better environment, a better place in Greensboro now where he's at. So he is close to his family, and his family is going to play a huge factor in his recruitment, not just distance from home. They're going to have – it'll be his decision, but they're going to help him, certainly guide him through the process, if you will.
Another guy that I think the family's big on, but the distance is not going to be an issue with, is Treyvion Henderson. And talking to him today, his recruitment's totally wide open.
Right.
He likes Penn State, he likes Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. You could name a lot of schools that are going to be in the mix for the kid from Darrell Taylor's high school up in Hopewell, Virginia. Tennessee's positioned, but they're going to be in a dogfight for him. He likes Oklahoma a lot. That's the only official visit he has set up. He's going to go there for the spring game. And then talked about using some of his other officials for places that he can't afford to get to unofficially. So in other words, places like Penn State and Tennessee, he can get to those places rather easily on his own. He may take officials to Oregon and some other school.
That's really a growing trend, Austin, when you talk about guys using those visits to go places they can't. We're seeing that more and more. I thought the other thing that was interesting about him, he said some schools are all over the map with him position-wise. Some even talking about defense.
Florida cornerback.
Looks like, though, he wants to play running back. And when you watch the tape, it's hard not to see him being an offensive player.
Well, and that's what Tennessee wants him as an offensive skill guy, specifically a running back. But he talked about how Florida wants him as a defensive back. I think that'll be a sticking point for him for schools, because I think he wants to play offense.
Yeah, and then you look at another guy from down in Pahokee, Florida, who plays at IMG Academy, Markevius Brown, who was talking openly about Tennessee. He's got his list of 7 schools. Actually, he had Michigan in there. They're the 8th school. But he talked about Tennessee and what jumped out to him about Tennessee, not just the relationship he's building and the conversations he's having with Derek Ansley and Jeremy Pruitt. It's their history with DBs. And he noted Derek Ansley coached in the National Football League and says, hey, he knows what it takes to be good in that league. That's something that excites him when he talks about Tennessee. So that's one to watch, too. I thought that jumped out at me today. Corner is going to be important in this class. He says he's a DB. He play corner, safety, or nickel, but he wants to start at the corner position, and that's where he'll be. I think Michigan will have a chance. Distance and weather could be a factor there. We'll see what other schools. He's going to visit a lot of places. Says he'll see Tennessee twice before he makes a decision sometime late in the fall.
You talk about corner for the second consecutive class, edge pass rusher will be a sticking point for the Vols in 2021. Damian Robinson's right at the top of the list. A kid from up in the D.C., Maryland area. And, Tennessee's found themselves right in the thick of that one as well. He likes Tennessee a lot, said he'll be down for a junior day coming up on February 1st. So that means Tennessee's going to take that last weekend before the second signing day and turn that into an official visit weekend, unofficial visit weekend, but also a junior day for a lot of 2021s and 2022s. So some people on the board have asked about that. He'll be in town for that. Tennessee, Penn State, Ohio State, Florida State, all in the mix for Damian Robinson. But Tennessee has done a nice job of at least getting in the mix for him. early on.
Well, and there's lots of other things to talk about. We'll have much more. Jesse's got a bunch more notes on some guys up. We'll continue to have more stuff from the Future 50 here in Orlando throughout the rest of this week, and obviously continue coverage of Tennessee and Indiana coming up in the Tax Slayer Bowl. For Austin Price, I'm Brent Hubbs.